Back at it again, and we've got to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy. Obviously, you guys heard about the whole debate. We covered that yesterday, but for those that haven't, like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And here's a little refresher, too. Let's dive in.
Nikki, you were bankrupt when you left the UN. After you left the UN, you became a military contractor. You actually started joining service on the board of Boeing, whose back you scratched for a very long time. And
look at her face this whole time. He's absolutely railing against her.
Then gave foreign multinational speeches like Hillary Clinton is. And now you're a multimillionaire. That math does not add up. It adds up to the fact that you are corrupt. Identity politics. This new religion that says your race, your gender, and your sexuality are your identity. It is anti-American. It is meritocratic. It's anti-meritocratic, and it is dividing this country to a breaking.
And you know, it's funny that Democrats are always the ones that are pushing that kind of stuff because they accuse Republicans of, you know, being the racist individuals. But it's always Democrats that talk about race. It's always Democrats. You know, when you talk about any topic or discussion, Democrats try to bring race in it some way, somehow, or your sexual preference. And it's like nobody was even talking about that. Nobody cared about that at all. Nobody was even speaking anything about. We were talking about a specific issue that had nothing to do with race or sexual preference or whatever. But Democrats will try to inject it into the conversation to try to. I believe they do it to try to silence people and to win, right? Win the debate or the discussion. But people are on to them now. People aren't buying it anymore.
Point. But it's even worse when Republicans try to play the same game. And Nikki Haley's campaign launch video sounded like a woke Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light ad talking about how she would kick in heels. At the first debate, she said that only a woman can get this job done. That's what she said. After the third debate, when I criticized Ronna McDaniel after 5 failed years of leadership of this party and criticized Nikki for her corrupt foreign dealings as a military contractor, she said that I have a woman problem. Nikki, I don't have a woman problem. You have a corruption problem. And I think that that's what people need to know. Nikki is corrupt. This is a woman who will send your kids to die so she can buy a bigger house. This is the problem. Using identity politics more effectively than Kamala Harris is a form of intellectual fraud. And it actually needs to end. There's our donor puppet masters wielding their puppet right up here tonight. This is how this game is played. The puppet masters put up their puppet, and I reject the use of identity politics in this party. It has been a cancer coming from the left, and I'm sick and tired of the double standards. The people of this country are too. Having 2 X chromosomes does not immunize you from criticism.
Thank you.
Where was the lie? Where was the lie? Now, that was just a little bit of a refresher. We can stop that there. But recently, something interesting happened to Vivek, and it has to do with one of the 3-letter agencies. I know some of y'all like, whoa, wait, whoa, what you talking about? What you talking about? Check it out. Vivek Ramaswamy received stern warning from former FBI agent. Jesus, be careful. I'd get some very, very competent help before you went places. Let's read this here. It says, while campaigning, goodness gracious, what in the world? We gonna block that. Matter of fact, you know what? Here, there's like a image of somebody's teeth or something at the bottom of the screen. We're gonna block that off. Okay, we don't want to see that. All right. Let's read this here. While campaigning in Iowa this week, GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy met up with an unexpected, guest who had important advice for him. As Gateway pundit readers know, Ramaswamy has been one of the most forceful critics against the corrupt political establishment in the deep state. He has consistently called for shutting down the FBI and ending America's overseas conflicts, which defense contractors have made a killing off of for years. Moreover, Ramaswamy has proven to be a staunch defender of President Trump during his kangaroo trials. Not surprisingly, Ramaswamy's bold truth-telling has caused prominent political individuals in the corporate media to launch vicious attacks against him. It is quite likely he has made enemies at the highest of levels of government as well. Ramaswamy met with a former FBI agent and his wife during a stop in Indianola On Thursday, the agent was a 22-year veteran who worked in counter-terrorism. The agent and his wife full-heartedly agreed with the millennial candidate that rooting out federal government corruption and shutting down the FBI was of paramount importance. Which, listen, that line alone is just wild. So a former FBI agent of 22 years said that shutting his former employer down is very, very important. Just saying. Interesting statement there. Now, here is the video in question where Ramaswamy met the FBI agent. I want you guys to take a look at this and listen to the interaction between these two guys. Check it out.
What's your name, sir?
Mike Wyatt.
Mike, good to meet you.
They ruined my bureau. When I went in, it was fidelity, bravery, integrity. They've broken my heart. This can't be. This can't go on. And
We will, and I like the way you're pushing, because those are my instincts, right? But I can tell you what we can immediately get done. Well, thank you for your service.
tired, but Jesus, be careful.
I will. We will. I mean, we're guided by our purpose. I know that it can get ugly. You mean like
Yes,
be careful, be
very
careful.
careful.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you do in the bureau?
I worked. I was a SWAT guy, but I worked counterintelligence and counterterrorism, and I was one of those guys that was convinced they would never do it.
You were, how many years were you in the FBI?
22. I was a cop before that.
Okay, and you're worried.
Yes, I'm worried.
Okay.
This retired.
What would you do in my shoes?
I'd get some very, very competent help.
Okay.
And some very competent people do some intelligence work for you before you went places.
Okay.
Just
Very competent help before you went places.
some very competent people do some intelligence work for you before you went places.
Okay.
Just walk around, talk to people, maybe get a feeling,
Okay.
because that's what I did for a living. I got people to tell me what they didn't want to tell me. And the other thing is, I'm now an entrepreneur. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps, but I don't think my worm farm is going to catch up with
Okay.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll take that seriously, man. I'm reading between the lines of what you're saying, and we got you.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll take care of ourselves. And
You've seen how aggressive these alphabet organizations have become. They're coming after you.
yeah, no doubt about it. But we're ready.
Okay.
We'll be ready.
If you think you're going back into private life, if this doesn't work out, they're coming.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So yeah, there you heard it. There you heard it. And you could tell, like, Ramaswamy was a little bit freaked out at first. He was like, oh, wait a minute. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. When you get some news like that, like, holy crap, me, I'm sure that would freak out a lot of people. And like I said, rightfully so. But wow. Crazy stuff right there, to think that it's also kind of like a badge of honor, to think that you're shaking things up so much that someone is afraid of you possibly being pine boxed because of it. You're shaking things up that much. It's also kind of like a badge of honor, like, okay, I must be moving in the right direction here. I must be doing something right if that is the case. But yeah, that is some wild stuff. And it's also, been speculated that could possibly happen to Uncle Trump. Now, that'd be a totally different type of situation. Trump's got Secret Service. He's got security, around him 24/7. Plus, he's so popular, so well known. It's been pushed out there. People are already looking for this kind of stuff. I think it would be an absolutely terrible move for the establishment, right, to attempt to do something like that to Uncle Trump. I think that would be the last possible move that they would ever actually try to execute on. Right? That would be, okay, we clearly lost this election. There's no finagling our way back in. We know Trump is about to arrest all of us. Let's just get rid of him first, kind of thing. Last minute, right before he takes office, that would be the absolute last thing after they've exhausted everything. Day before he takes office, Now, I'm not calling for that. I'm hoping that nothing like that happens, but like in my mind, right, I would see it playing out that way if it were to happen. Now, hopefully nothing happens to anybody. I don't want to see anybody lose their life, right? That the loss of life is obviously a loss of life. You know, you don't come back from that. That's final. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting to, you know, hear someone say you could possibly be Pine Box. Basically, he kind of beat it around the bush a little bit, and Vivek kind of read between the lines with it. But yeah, that's some absolutely scary stuff right there, which also gives me a little bit of a different perspective on Vivek. Not completely. He's still not like the guy for me. Obviously, it's still Trump 100%. But I feel like it does give him a couple of points, in my humble opinion. Like, that tells me that he might be actually on the right path. Maybe that video that I made of him repeating Obama, maybe that was just him trying to, you know, have a better speech or something. I don't know. Obama, he's a good speaker. Terrible politician, you know, terrible policies, but, you know, good speaker. So I could get it, right? I'm not saying Vivek is like the worst person in the world. I'm also not saying he's the best, but to me, that gives him a couple extra brownie points. What do y'all think, though? How do you guys feel about it? Does this change your opinion at all about Vivek? I know most of you are still going to be Trump guys and gals, but does Vivek like earn a couple of notches in the belt because of this situation? In my humble opinion, he does. He earns a couple of notches. Like I said before, I mean, he was already my pick over, if it was just between the people that were in the recent debate, Chris Christie, Vivek, Ron DeSantis, and Nikki Haley. If it was just those four, I'm picking Vivek all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. And this just reassures that opinion for me. But when you add Trump into the equation, it's Trump all day long, you know, no questions asked. Like, nobody else is even a consideration for me. But like I said, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Peace and love, family. I'm out.